Hello and welcome to another BlazeCast presentation. I'm your host, Blaze Inferno, and we're going into a game from the Defense 2 in the group stages early on. This is the second game in the listing, and we're looking at a game from Counterlogic Gaming versus Copenhagen Wolves. So CLG picking it up. You know, they're the primarily Swedish team, for a little bit from everywhere, but primarily Swedish. And then they were actually at one point Quantic Gaming, but that changed around a little bit. And then they got Copenhagen, who's the Danes from Denmark and a couple other places as well. So definitely going to see some European style meta here, and I guess we'll just jump right on into it. We got Enchantress ban out. Maybe that's going to be just to ban out both Enchantress and Chen real quick, or maybe they're looking at, since they do have the first pick available on the Wolves here, if Calculus is looking at picking up maybe the Chen for himself. And so as far as what I'm expecting from this game overall, I'm very excited about it, but it's probably going to be more kind of a push to farm and just push to steamroll kind of thing. It's very common from both these teams right now, is kind of early pressure, early destruction in lanes, and taking down some towers really quickly. So we're going to see some quick defense, some really quick offensive, and they're going to kind of draft heroes that are more towards that style. I mean, you could see a semi-carry to a hard carry that's designed to go into late game just so they don't feel too pressured for time, but generally speaking, they're not going to put all their eggs in one basket as far as trying to reach a late game scenario. They definitely want to do some early pressure, and that's how it's going to go. Standard bans with the Lycan and the Darkseer. Darkseer just being a really annoying hero with the vacuum that can group up for enemy heroes for AoE damage, and his ultimate, which just does a ton of physical damage with those illusions. And the Lycan, a standard ban. Generally, the second picker bans the Lycan because obviously you always have the option of first picking it, but they definitely just don't want to have to deal with it in either case. So the Lycan is getting banned out. That's a pusher carry there. Probably Chaos Knight coming up next as well. But Chen actually did get banned out, so they knew that Wolves might be looking at doing the first pick Chen and getting some really quick advantage in the jungle really quickly for some split EXP as well as very fast ganks to push. So there's not too much late game farm in these two teams' playstyles as far as I understand it. They're mostly focusing on ganking, killing heroes, killing towers. Towers obviously being the priority since they grant the entire team gold and just bring you that much closer to destroying the Ancient, which is the primary objective, of course. So all these heroes, pretty much every single one of them, can be considered a pusher, with Ion Shell, the creeps and heals from Enchantress and Chen, and then the Broodmother, of course, with the Spiderlings, and Leshrac with his Edict that directly damages towers. Every single one of these is a push hero, and it fits right into their metagame. However, Nature's Prophet is one of those primary push heroes that did slip through, whereas a Chaos Knight is going to be one of those pickups that CLG goes for. I'm curious if they're going to accompany that with like a couple mobile stunners or something like that do pick up an Enigma for powerful ultimates and stuff like that. One nice thing about the Enigma pickup right now is Nature's Prophet doesn't have any kind of disable, so that's at least one of the 5 heroes does not have a way of taking out Enigma. Big thing for Enigma, he can just go supportive build, go for early push, and go for early mech, but if he does get a good ultimate off, he has to try to catch as many heroes as possible so that he doesn't get stunned out of it, because if you pick up even 4 out of 5 but then get stunned out of it half a second later, it's not very beneficial. But so you're generally looking for setups where you're not getting countered by long-range disables and things along those lines. It is a rather early pickup for the Enigma, but I'm pretty sure CLG just wants him for the control, whether I put him in a solo lane where he just does huge amounts of harass, or puts him in the jungle to farm up pretty quickly so that he can start moving for push with like a headdress or a buckler or something like that, or even a full mech if he can manage it. Windrunner, another nice pickup, probably going to go for a long lane suicide, though obviously she's versatile. She's been seen in solo, mid, and support roles as well. Quick pickups on in this draft here. They weren't exactly sure what they were going to go, but once they decided it, they were right back and forth with it. So we got Shadow Demon. Actually, right now we've got kind of 3 intellect heroes that do some decent auto attack damage, but have a lot of utility as well, between Shadow Demon and Windrunner especially. You're looking at the illusions, the disruption from the Shadow Demon, as well as all of his other bag of tricks abilities, and then and Windrunner's Shackle Shot, considered one of the most powerful disables in the game, having the potential to disable up to 2 heroes for over 2.5 seconds, and that can be very powerful as well. So Invoker and Panda getting banned out. It looks like Wolves is trying to ban out a powerful solo lane They don't want to have to deal. I mean, Shadow Shaman might get picked up because he's definitely a very solid pusher that falls into a solo mid role. But Copenhagen's not letting CLG look at a very power caster mid, since they probably don't plan on picking up a Night Stalker or something like that. Ancient Apparition, forgot to mention, is just a kind of solid laner. He can go with Chaos Knight really well. If Chaos Knight lands anything longer than a 1 second stun, so 2 to 4 obviously, then the Cold Feet can get off from the Ancient Apparition, and that'll be a nice combo there, in lane especially. So they might do a pseudo tri-lane, where they have the Ancient Apparition laning with the Chaos Knight and have the Enigma in jungle, and then transition that to a quick push as soon as Chaos Knight hits his level 6 and gets his first illusion. Or they might just, you know, do their timing, whatever they feel is appropriate. Sand King getting banned out there. Broodmother's banned and Sand King's banned, so I guess that's just for the AoE ultimate. I mean, Caustic is decent for pushing, and all of his abilities are AoE, so it is a powerful teamfight hero. But really, I'm thinking they just were worried about a very powerful strength hero for AoE potential, but there's a lot of options open. There's Earthshaker and there's Tide Hunter, and even if Wolves just takes the Prophet as their carry, and then just runs. Okay, they actually went for the Morphling carry, so Morphling's another good split pusher type hero. He can push all by himself perfectly fine, picks up like an Aquila, and waveforms across, and just does a lot of AoE pushing damage that direction, and if they don't send more than one hero to defend a tower, he's generally going to be able to put a lot of pressure on that lane. And whether they give him a solo or they try to give him maybe a tri-lane type setup, the Leshrac did get banned out, but Shadow Demon and Morphling is still a pretty good combo in lane together, and then they can add in whatever they want to it. Maybe the Sand King would have been something they're looking for, maybe a Tide, who knows. But goes back over to CLG on the Radiant team, Pycat, picking up another. They probably are happy with the Chaos Knight carry, and they're going to go for a primary disable Beastmaster against Morphling. Very common to just use that roar outright. Morphling can still morph while you defensively or offensively. Well, generally going to be defensively if he's really trying to survive there. He can morph while he is roared, but he can't do anything else, and it's just a good way to shut him down until he picks up a Lincoln Sphere. That Beastmaster likely going to be going in a solo lane, so he's probably going to be either going mid or top. And that means that Enigma is definitely going to be in the jungle in that case. I mean, technically they could both go solo Beastmaster and Enigma, but I don't see that happening. I see Enigma going in the jungle, gearing up to push pretty quickly on one of the side lanes. And then CK and AA go hand in hand pretty nicely. AA can solo mid, but I think he's the support they're looking for to go with the CK there. Alright, and just a quick introduction to me. This is like literally my second or third video that I'm posting online and recording. I'm relatively new to casting. I'm trying to pick it up and improve my talents in that area, at least just get some experience in that field. And so I'm relatively new to it, and I do make some mistakes, whether it's missing a kill or tripping over my words a little bit, but overall I'm trying, and if you guys see anything that I can improve on, keep them in mind, and you can leave them in the comments after you watch the video or whenever you stop doing so. But our last pickups, we've got an Earthshaker and a Tinker coming out. Now, Tinker, really powerful. He can go solo mid, and that's probably what they're going to lane him as. I mean, you could also do a dual lane mid with AA and CK, and have Tinker go bottom, but that's a moot point right now. Pretty much, but what the Tinker brings to the team is the fact that if he goes March the Machine Rockets build, which he probably will, he'll be able to add to that push, and he won't be able to damage the towers with the March, but it'll just push the creep wave extremely rapidly, and once it gets his boost travels, he can do that to every single lane. He can be top, bottom, mid, in all three of them within a minute. And that's going to be just effective to keep pressure coming in all directions and make sure that Morphling isn't pushing too far in one area. He can just jump bottom or whatever lane Morphling's probably most likely going to be top lane that Morphling's going to be pushing in, and he can start causing problems in that area. We got a quick pause, strat pause as some call it, just to kind of get their lanes and items setup figured out. Don't think there's a DC anyways, no. But anywho. Yeah, so the Tinker will be able to do a nice burst of damage on heroes like the Morphling, where Morphling loves to be able to run he has the Morph ability, which swaps his stats between agility and strength, and he loves to be able to run as little strength as possible, just be as high damage, high attack speed as possible without having to worry about his health. But with burst damage coming from heroes like Tinker and Beastmaster Roar, things along those lines, it actually causes him a lot of problems, and that's something he's got to look out for and always keep in mind. and therefore that's going to have him play generally play a bit more defensively as far as the strength goes. Because I mean, in the way these setups go, he might pick up a Lincoln's, but he's probably not going to pick up a BKB and a Lincoln's, just because these games are always flying really quickly between these two teams. Very early pressure, and it's going to definitely swing one way or another pretty quickly. It's generally from what I've seen from these guys. So yeah. And then the last pick of Earthshaker, just a general powerful support. Could do the Earthshaker, Shadow Demon, Morphling tri-lane, and do Prophet mid and Windrunner bottom. Or they could try to opt for like a Morphling going for a solo lane with jungle coverage or something like that. They can do, and a roaming Earthshaker. I mean, they have a lot of flexibility, but it's really how much experience do they really want to get out of the Morphling, or do they just want to go up for push right off the bat with illusions and waveform and things along those lines. Most likely they're going to wait until Nature Prophet gets a few points in Trance at the very least, but that's just going to be the timing of it, really. Pycat's going to pick up the CK, Misery on the Tinker. Misery's done a good Tinker a number of times in the past couple of games, and he's very mobile and he's very effective at utilizing his abilities to keep up the pressure there. This is stand-in, Street is. He's a stand-in for, I believe, Lacoste. So I haven't actually seen too much out of him, but hopefully he's got some mad black holes, or at least some solid Eidolon push to bring to the lineup there. So I'm actually surprised Beastmaster's heading this direction. I'm guessing they're just trying to cover wards in the bottom area. They don't want to get their pulls blocked where they can't spawn creeps and therefore can't pull creeps. So they're going to go down in this direction and see what they can do, which is interesting because we also have this movement south from the Wolves team. So if we're lucky, we'll see a 5v5 clash real quick, and gonna theory craft that out real quick. Which team would you say is most set up for that? Really, Enigma doesn't bring much because there's not going to be, before the 30-second mark, there's not going to be any neutrals to Eidolon, and there's going to be very few creeps to Eidolon. So really, that's kind of a waste of a skill in a 5v5 level 1 skirmish. Whereas we got a waveform. Sprout could be helpful, but it really depends on what Windrunner goes. If she decides to opt in to go first into a skirmish, and then Wind runs out, that's very effective. Or if she can land a good shackle, or even just some damage with power shot. Really, her bag of tricks is the highest utility, along with the disruption and the fissure. So, really, I'd say it's kind of favorable towards Wolves if they do end up going for 5v5 right here, because of this long pause. But we'll see. Along those lines, it looks like Shadow Demon is disconnected. Calculus picking up the Nature Prophet. Does like to kind of farm that up and perform well. He mostly plays them as a solo instead of a jungle, so that's possibly what they're going to be doing, but we'll see really quickly. Windrunner actually not picking up any regen. I don't know if she's actually legitimately leaving the base at this point in time or what's up with that, but right now only has stats, so we'll see. But Earthshaker being the most supportive guy. And this is a really long pause. Yeah, with this Stout Shield, I'm expecting Miracle to go top with Beastmaster. And let's say Misery going middle lane, going for a very fast bottle with those branches in mid. And so, yeah, that would end up being CK, AA bottom with Street running the Enigma jungle. So we'll see how that goes. CK being one of those heroes that a lot of people are worried about how playing against. All of his skills are based on RNG. Pretty much it's a coin flip whether or not they're either minimally effective or super effective, and how much they can really affect team fight. If you get a powerful stun, like a 3-second stun at level 3, at the rank 2 of it, in a setup between AA and CK, that's practically a kill automatically. But it's very mana dependent, so you can't do that a lot, but it comes down to a lot of RNG. Anyways, what we're looking at here, we're definitely seeing everybody going towards the bottom lane, and if they do, it depends on how they choose to engage it, but she did pick up regen. But if they do jump in on it, could be very interesting. So that's what we're looking at there. Okay, got the engagement between everybody here. And they do see the Shadow Demon. He does get the disruption off, and they're going to go for a Fissure to block him in. Pycat in a bad spot, all caught out, blocked off by the Fisher, and he's going to be the first blood easily. Goes to Morphling, and they're going to take that and probably leave with it. But that was a really nice start off with the disruption of the Fisher. It just put him in a really bad situation in that case. I'm actually going to modify a few settings and pause it right now for just a second. Alright, a couple camera setting changes there just to make it a little bit smoother. But they actually, it looks like with that first blood, they were also able to gain a little bit of positioning advantage and get this ward down in this area blocking this spawn from happening right here, so they can't pull to the lane with that one specifically. And they also have one that covers both the rune and this spawn here, so they can't do a secondary pull or anything along those lines. So that's good ward coverage by the Dire team. I mean, Radiant's got a nice one just covering this general area that sweeps across at the rune junction, but the fact that these camps are blocked would make it's going to make it really difficult for Enigma to cover the jungle, because really he's only got 3 camps to work with, and that's going to slow him down considerably. And now at this point, I don't know why he... Oh, illusion rune, not disruption, okay. But they're looking for a gank on Enigma right off the bat, so Morphling looks like he's soloing, and it doesn't seem like anything's too far out of order. But this ward will not be seeing them, and if they can get a good setup up on this Enigma, he seems to know what's going on. He sees that there's only 3 enemies on the map, so he's going to play it relatively safely, pull them back, and they're going to be looking at a roaming gank on mid with that illusion rune. So they got the dual lane mid with Chaos Knight, and he is going to have a bad time. Already got first blood once. Fisher lands on 2 of them, shackle to both of them. And if they get a disruption just for a little bit of damage, no power shot finishes it off, and a TP in from the Nature's Prophet, already doing a TP sprout. It looks like if the Fisher can come up 3 seconds, they just need to do a little bit more damage. So they get the Fisher off, they can do a sprout, and that's going to be enough. It should be enough. Oh yeah, last hit finishes him off. So that's going to be 3-0 in favor of the Copenhagen Wolves right now. Very nice play, high mobility with the early roaming, and poor Chaos Knight, only level 2, didn't even have his stun for that skirmish right there. Nothing he could do about that. So he's not having a good time. I mean, he's got his regen, so he will be able to sustain in lane, but Pycat really needs to get a better start to be able to do well against that mid setup. Now, they were running the AA and the CK mid, and that's a really good setup to kill Windrunner, since first of all, she doesn't have Windrun yet. She just picked up level 3. And second of all, if he lands a 2 to 4 second stun, like I said, it sets up a free cold feet pretty much. So that can put her very far out of position. 2 second stun, even if she Windruns, it shouldn't... Okay, with the Windrun mobility, she is actually able to break through that stun, so that's not the biggest deal. But once he hits a level 3, which he just did, if he has mana to sustain it, if he does land a 3 second or more stun, the Windrun's not going to be able to help it, and she's going to avoid the damage, maybe, but she's not going to be able to get out of the cold feet. Just some harass damage on the Tinker from this very mobile Earthshaker. Tinker is opting for the Soul Ring as soon as he can with that recipe, and they're actually smoking up. They know that there's a ward somewhere. They might be going towards middle, or they're actually just going to go on the Tinker, who's all by himself at this point, and he is really far forward. So if they land a good Fisher, which they're about to, good Fisher there, and then if they can get the disrupt off, that's really what it's about. And unfortunately, the smoke was wasted. That they just weren't able to get Shadow Demon in close enough, and the Morphling waveform wouldn't have been very effective at all. As far as the other lane goes, Nature's Prophet, he's pretty much got a relatively free lane. I mean, Beastmaster is very tanky, very beefy, and he can sustain against this, as well as working with his boar to stack these Ancients right here, which is awesome. But overall, he's still not... It's generally going to be an easy-to-win lane with Nature's Prophet, and it'll also not... He won't... Okay, you got a disruption up here. Is the Fisher going to block it in, is the question? Lagging a little bit. And he did get stunned by the Fisher, but not blocked in, but the waveform goes across, and with that free Soul Catcher, the 20%, 30%, or well, it's 20% of the time, increased damage received, made that waveform and made that Morphling pick up an easy kill there. Nature's Prophet porting on mid. They did dive and get a kill on Windrunner, but here comes Nature's Prophet cleaning up. If he can get the Sprout off on Ancient Apparition, he did, and a couple auto attacks, but it does tango out, and he does pop a salve even so. So he's gonna, even with that last auto attack, it did take off the salve, but it did not effectively get him the kill. So, but they still have an advantage. He's gonna kill the little Hawk right here, and he's looking at, with that salve, he's without the salve. They're looking at 5-1 for their team, and with that, Tinker's looking at top lane, whereas Enigma's going to be maybe holding the bottom lane for a little bit. Tinker does not feel safe. He knows he needs some gold. He knows he needs some experience to get that 4-4 for between the machines and the rockets, and to start opting for that boost of travel after Soul Ring. But one obvious disadvantage: you leave in your lane, you're abandoning your tower, and that's dropping really quickly at this point in time. Beastmaster did come bottom at this point. He is level 5, so he does have a bit of a level advantage on the Morphling. But really, if Shadow Demon decides to keep control, right now he's covering mid, but if he does come bottom, that Fisher combo with the disruption is just really devastating. Here comes another very high power shot with the Soul Catcher on the disrupted Chaos Knight, and that's just going to put more pressure on every single tower. So at this point, it feels like Wolves have control, demanding control over the map, every single lane, and that's just going to put a lot of pressure out. I mean, Miracle can delay this out with the Wild Axes, and he's got just about enough mana for the Roar, but with no mana items, and with the fact that he doesn't have access to his Ancients right now to stack them, he's fighting a losing battle. He's going to be able to hold the lane for a while, but he's not going to be able to dominate anything. Winner's got her bottle at this point, and she's doing all right. This lane right here, Ancient Apparition and Chaos Knight, is designed to kill hard, and if he's not able to get in close enough to land some Chaos Bolts to set up the Cold Feet, it's not going to be worth it. It's not going to be beneficial. I mean, they do have some good zoning going on in her, and the fact that Chaos Knight is level 5 and the solo Winner is only level 4, but he's already died a number of times, 3 times deaths on the Chaos Knight. So whatever he's looking at, he's definitely delayed. Pycat definitely would be wishing that he had a little bit more available at him this time. Morphling is going for the Aquila. He has his Basilius inactive, so he's not looking at pushing the tower down yet. He knows that the Axes or even the Roar can make it too dangerous to do so at this point in time. But that they're not playing passively, but they're just making sure that they can lay the foundation for their advantage and kind of start doing a snowball effect there. There's a lot of mobility going towards the bottom lane. Haste that she's going to want to bottle up, and might be able to do Enigma right here. He's all by himself. She did not pick up the Haste Ring yet. Maybe she meant to and just accidentally messed up on it, but one way or another, she just now realized that, or he did. Obviously, it's S4 as a guy, but just realized that he has the Haste Rune available now, and here's the big push I was talking about coming for bottom lane. First, some damage ganking on the Beastmaster. He does have Roar up. He does have anything he needs up, but he is going to be able to get out of there. In the meantime, there's all 5? Yeah, with Nature Prophet down here, all 5 heroes pushing the bottom tower really quickly, while all the other towers are sitting at pretty much full health, and they're just going to TP back up and keep on providing that gradual pressure. So this is where it comes into play. It's always gank to push with these guys, and right now they're getting the kills and they're getting the towers, so that's going to be snowballing in that direction. Look at the gold graph. It's definitely steamrolling in their direction. Just over 2,000 gold difference, and you know, when you're looking at only 8,000 on one team and 6,000 on another, having a 20% advantage on funds is definitely beneficial this early on. So Enigma, still level 5, very delayed. He's got his Basilius up, but he's still working on his Soul Ring. And even then, he has no mobility, no boots, no blink. Of course not no blink. I mean, 7.5, and he's been shut out of his jungle pretty hard, 0-1. So that's just pretty much, he's not going to be very effective even when he does get that black hole, because they do have a lot of disables. When you're talking Adaptive Strike, once he decides to skill it, along with Shackle Shot, Disruption, and Fisher, it's going to be really hard pressed to do something about that. So right now it's definitely suiting up that they really need to get more farm on their tanker. I'm actually wondering where the tanker wandered off to. Is he working on the Ancients? Okay, so what okay, well, let's look at bottom real quick. The stun and the cold feet onto Nature Prophet. He's not going anywhere, and they did actually put a kill on the board for them too. So it's 2-6. But the question is, will that be enough? Now they do have some split push damage, like I was saying, coming from the Morphling. He has a Basilius on, and he's beginning to do plenty of damage to the tower here. He does have his Ring of Health. It's going to be opting for a Basilius pretty quickly on, and with the current GPM, he shouldn't have any problem of getting that up at a reasonable point in time. And it'll stop a couple of really good things. It'll stop the blind from Tinker, the multi-stun procs of Malefice from the Enigma. They're popping a Fortify, and they really can't defend this. They got 3 heroes from the Dire team, Wolves, coming to the top lane, and Morphling does not get the last hit. The Catapult actually does, but that's either way, they got a tower, and that does give gold to everybody there. So Pycat opting for bottom lane, just trying to get some farm, trying to get either drums or phase, or treads or whatever he needs to do to stay mobile and stay in the fights. Drums will give him the mana that he needs, and I think that might be his best option. Actually didn't pick up the Phantasm, decided that the one illusion was not worth it compared to just going 4/4 in his QW combo, which does a lot of bonus damage, 100 bonus damage at that rank. Interesting ward spot, covering kind of all this junction here, as well as kind of displaying that they're planning on pushing these mid towers pretty shortly, because that generally is a ward you put up when you're trying to push towards the middle lane without having to worry about unexpected surprises, especially Enigma or something like that. Anyway, so that tower falling extremely quick. Very little they can do about it. A couple rockets coming out. They're going to go for the deny, but Nature's Prophet finished it off. 2 hits away, and Miracle sends off one of those auto attacks. So, unfortunately, for them at least, Wolves takes another tower for free, pretty much. A lot of pressure going their direction. Finished up Perseverance on the Morphling. And honestly, I don't think they're going to stop here. They didn't really waste anything with that. So once they can get a quick kill, they're going to be looking at this tier 2 tower. Haste Rune on the Shadow Demon might be looking to scout out a quick potential kill. What I was trying to say earlier is that Beastmaster generally stacks these Ancients for himself. The fact that he can do Wild Axes, which is mixed damage, and damage these guys out. Actually, we got some damage coming in. A TP from Nature's Prophet, and just burst damage with the Soul Catcher. Actually, he's in a bad spot right here. He does get a disruption on him with the Fissure, which helps him out, and he's able to clip off the Ancient Apparition with that Fissure, long range. But at this point, they got the little bit more haste on that Shadow Demon, along with the ultimate, and yeah, Miracle's going nowhere. He's going to drop down. They have vision on the Enigma with the Shadow Poison, but I think he's going to make it out alright. But it's a very devastating loss there. 9-2 at this point. What started with the Tinker on the west area. And then trying to go for the Earthshaker, and him living with just so little health, but it was enough, and they were able to take him down. So, opting for a Vanguard on the Chaos Knight, and that's just for some sustainability, because they are getting wrecked at this point, and they really need to be able to win a team fight, and if that's the health they need. You're going to try to snipe Earthshaker off with this ALT. Is it going straight for the fountain? I believe it is, and if he goes, it's going to hit him perfectly on him. Right here, he's going to drop down. No way. So, good snipe by AA at that point. And Earthshaker does drop down to bring it to 3-9. But yeah, as I was trying to say, I keep on getting interrupted on it, but anyways, Beastmaster usually stacks this for himself. He tries to axe it down with that AoE damage, but March of the Machines is also a very effective way of killing Ancient Creeps, because it also does that physical damage. And they're going to be looking for a push on the bottom lane. Rank 4 Trents and a Midas, and he still has 2,000 gold after his phase boots as well. And he's going to just drop some damage on this bottom tower, get these Trents to mess with stuff, and then just TP top, defend it out, waveform it out, and counteract everything that Tinker's been working on. So he does have TP scroll, he doesn't have boots, but he can try to do what he can to pressure lanes, but they can wipe it out in a matter of seconds, and they're a very mobile team at this point in time. DD does go on Chaos Knight, hoping he can find somebody to use that on. If he can get a good long stun on a Morphling or something like that, maybe it could be beneficial, but he's going to need some support from other heroes. Along with that, another aggressive ward from the Wolves over here, keeping vision on Enigma, keeping vision on everything. This entire jungle is offensively warded, whether it's for pushing mid or for just ganking through the jungle. And Wolves have control of the map at this point, hardcore. I mean, there is one ward that's about to expire from the Radiant, as well as on bottom lane, and that's all they've got to cover it. So, it's not looking too good for CLG at this point. I mean, one thing to note is that Enigma was in the jungle, so they should be a little bit alright on experience. Definitely not as good as they were. They had a decent chunk of experience gain until the last couple of encounters. That 9 when they got like 3 more kills on them in the most recent fight, that dropped that back down to almost no advantage whatsoever. And the gold is extremely in favor of Wolves at this point. You're looking at what, 6,000, something like that, and that's just not cool. So. The Black Hole is up. Phantasm picked up on the Chaos Knight. I mean, they do have the skills to combo out and do a huge amount of damage, huge amount of disable on a couple of people. But really, at this point, they have a lot of pressure lost, and they're kind of scrambling to pick up the pieces. Smoke up on Shadow Demon, and he is already has treads and he's level 6. He's been playing supportively this whole time, but just the amount of kills and assists he's gotten from these ganks that have been almost 100% effective. He's looking at 205, even if only 10 CS, he's doing pretty well. And there's comes a long-range Fisher and long-range ultimate onto these two heroes here, Street and Miracle, just being picked off again, all by himself, no man's land. Disruption just to make sure, and he's gone. Last hit, triple kill for Nature's Prophet. I actually didn't catch the Tinker kill, but it was right in that area as well. They were all grouped up, they were caught out, and that was a very effective smoke gank from the Wolves. Not surprisingly at all. They didn't even have to force staff. So at this point, yeah. Push coming from mid, possibly a mech building on Windrunner. Seeing she has pretty good GPM at this point. And Misery just doing whatever he can to try to defend this tower, trying to knock out these creeps as soon as they come up on the lane. But Disruption is at Illusions, just for Illusions. Disruption going out to push the tower down real quick. And with the 235 health, Beastmaster porting in does not have his ultimate for 20 seconds. But Enigma does have his black hole up at this point, and they're going to try to cover as best they can. He actually does almost have his mechanism at this point, so that's at least a plus side for them. But they do have pressure going on mid. Now he needs to stop. Yeah, he stopped strength morphing because the AH apparition stops him from healing with that ultimate. But he's going to TP out at this point, and he should be alright. Yeah, at this point he's alright, but there is a 3-second stun coming out on the Nature's Prophet, and he's going to be picked off. So they were doing some pressure on this middle area here. They were relatively safe, but the Chaos Knight was able to lock down one of the hero kills there. So yeah, that is one decent counter they do have to Morphling, is that they do have the Ancient Apparition ulti. It used to be that you could just morph through it because it's a strength gain, but now they changed it so that you're just increasing your max health, not your current. And that's the opposite of what you want to do when you have a 12% chance of shattering. Or not chance, but threshold. A 10% threshold right now. But you know what I'm saying. If he gets low health, he dies. That's what I mean. But it's based on percentages, which is not favorable for a morph. Smoked up Shadow Demon all by himself. I don't know if he's going to try to pick up a solo kill or something like that. He does have a lot of levels. I mean, he only has 1 point in Shadow Poison, but just the Soul Catcher damage, he can still do a lot. And with the Nature Prophet coming in, he's going to be able to do plenty to it. So Tinker thinking that he has the opportunity to fight him all by himself, and not so much. This rank 4 Teleport and Prophet brings him all over wherever he wants. Midas does what he needs to. Anyways, Fisher coming out, and but a Cold Feet was on the Ancient Emperor, was on the Windrunner, and then AALT is about to finish off. Earshaker just needs one more hit on him, and that's going to take to Ancient Apparition kill. And so that actually was beneficial, despite the fact that Tinker got initiated on with the Nature's Prophet and the Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon came back up to a bunch of people dying. Windrunner and Earthshaker getting caught out by the Ancient Apparition CK combo. The problem is they've been needing to do that all game long. Pycat generally likes to play that aggressive style and likes to play those aggressive damage kill lane type heroes. And the problem with the kill lane is if you're not getting the kills, if you're just holding ground against a Windrunner 2v1 mid, then you're not as effective as you need to be. 2-second stun, and he's going to get the ALT on him, which should be... Oh, nice disruption. Should have blocked the ALT. He does have Frostbite on him, though, and he just might go down. But Pycat's going to get 1 or 2 more auto attacks in, and that should... Nope, finish. He's just perfectly fine, just peachy. Really nice disruption and disable combos going on the Chaos Knight. Tinker's going to see what he can do top, but I doubt that Nature Prophet's going to have any of that. Probably buy a TP scroll and jump right on that. Going for an Ultimate Orb. Going for her Sheep Stick, and then he's gonna opt for TP into top tower or something like that. I don't know. They're looking at Roshan. They have the Trents. They have Windrunner Shackle to do just that much more to him. You can't soul catch him, but you can still do a lot of damage to him. And with that many Trents, it doesn't matter. It's just gonna be immense amounts of damage. They can just push the lane away with the ultimate of Nature's Prophet globally. AA does see this coming in, but there's nobody low HP. It's just gonna scout it out, and they're just going to have to watch it die, because there's no way they can organize well enough to do something about this. They do have mech up on Enigma, and no drum. He's actually opting for, it looks like a pipe, or a hood, sorry, a hood going on Chaos Knight. Stop some of this burst magic damage, whether it be Shadow Demon, Windrunner, Morphling, or Earthshaker. A lot of damage coming in from the magic side of things, and he wants to be able to sustain through that. That's what those Ring of Regens will be built into, is the hood there. Possibly pipe, technically, because they need that utility, and I don't see Beastmaster picking it up anytime soon. But we'll see what Pycat opts for at this point in time. They do need some damage. They do need some way to stay in these fights, and at least the hood will be very beneficial in that. Whatever he decides to do with it later. Morphling does replicate back over in this direction, I believe, so he's going to be trying to make sure that this tower is covered. Miracle does have rank 1 ulti up, and he's just short of rank 2. But he does have Medallion. If he does land an ultimate on, say, Morphling, since Morphling's Lincoln Sphere, he has Lincoln Sphere, but he can still get single target disabled pretty quickly, just like that. And with the Medallion and the damage there, even with Cold Feet, Ancient Apparition ulti, combo down. Nice juggle shot going between these two, and Windrunner gets a good power shot off as well. But Black Hole bringing in 2 heroes right there. Shadow Demon Seed already uses his disruption, can't do anything about that. And Pycat's going to do some cleanup damage too. 3-second stun on, and they're just going to clean it up. Waveform across, and wow, very nice Black Hole and very nice damage. But Pycat gets just wrecked really quickly, and even if they picked off, I'm not sure if they actually were able to kill the Morphling. I thought they did, but he still has his Aegis, so no, they were not able to do so. They just got the Earthshaker. Nice Enigma ulti. Everybody dropped so low, but the Ancient Apparition ulti was only on 2 people. And so they got the Earthshaker, and they almost got the Morphling, but it wasn't enough, and they didn't have enough damage. And then the turnaround came, and Pycat just got chain disabled hardcore. That's where he usually picks up BKB, but just a lot of damage, and it's very painful. They're going to take top tier 2 tower at this point. Unfortunately, I'd say that's probably the best engagement that CLG could have hoped for. Got a really nice Black Hole along with picking Morphling out really quickly, and it wasn't even the Aegis that was able to bring him back. They just weren't able to burst him down and finish him off. And that's just, yeah, that's kind of putting a little bit of another nail in the coffin for the way this game has been going. Morphling definitely a harder carry than the Chaos Knight, and then he has a very well-farmed Nature's Prophet to help him out there. So you can see the gold graph, and there's another team fight going on. Got a Shadow Demon gets AA ultied, but Nature's Prophet was disrupted, dodges that, and is able to get some right-click damage in. Beastmaster gets shackled. Really nice shackled from Windrunner, but a lot of magic damage coming into her, even though she's Windrun, and she is going to go down. Pycat having to fall back. He doesn't have much HP left, but they're actually able to hold that fight. I felt that Enigma getting so far. Oh wow! Ow! Wow! Waveform Adaptive Strike just going balls to the walls against this Tinker here. He was trying to TP out, but these two wouldn't have none of that. They're the most farmed on the team by far, and they're allowed to play aggressive at this point in time. So he's gonna fall back. It did cost them the tower, but you know, getting a free kill on their carry, not a problem. Not a problem at all. Boots of travel. A great pickup on Tinker, but at 22 minutes, when you don't have a single tower push down, really isn't going to change much. You're still going to have to turtle in the same area, and mobility is not going to really benefit you as much as just raw damage. And with Nature's Prophets finishing that scythe along with the Force Staff, man, what's his GPM at this point? That's kind of insane. Wow. And you're looking at 564 GPM on Prophet and counting. It's going to keep on going up and up. And just short of that on Morphling, which isn't a massive amount. He did really well in the laning phase, and 503 with 150 some last hits. And here comes Pycat, stun coming in on Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon is wrecked. Big AA ulti. Roar goes on Windrunner, but she's going to be alright with the Fisher blocking out and keeping them out of that direction. Nice wave, and just focus on the Tinker. Amazing shackle between Miracle and Pycat, just setting it up. And although Pycat does a lot of damage, he's going to have to fall back because he's going to get shackled, he's going to get fissured, he's going to just get knocked out. Oh, the Fisher actually, the shackle shot did actually not connect, but Nature's Prophet coming in with that, those trees there, and Pycat pulling him in, but just too much damage on him, while Morphling's going on for his monster kill, triple kill, and picking off another hero there. So he's able to freely just jump in and do what he wants to. He has that spell block with Lincoln's, doesn't have to worry about a bunch of single target spells, as well as the fact that he still has his Aegis, and he still has tons of strength to play around with, strength agility to morph around with, and that gives him pretty much free reign, and that's where Miracle Pycat called GG. Good job, Copenhagen Wolves, just providing that amazing amount of pressure, pushing the racks 24 minutes here, and just devastating damage. Balsam on the Morphling, all over the place, and that's going to be a game. And apparently there's a reason. something about time. You have to play a certain amount of time in the tournament or something like that. But that's not really that big a deal. I'm not going to talk for however long they feel like just to meet their requirements. The game did go on for some period of time longer, but that is the game. You see the very obvious golden experience graph difference. They had a little bit of advantage for their jungle hero, Enigma there. Got a little bit of extra farm, but was still shut down with a lot of good counter wards and things along those lines. But that's the game at this point. So speeding this up. And we can see super fast motion destroying this. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to jump to the score screen really quickly. But overall, just really good play by the Wolves. And that's going to be the end of our game. Presumably. I want the scoreboard. There we go. Alright, so you guys got the scoreboard. Pause on it if you want to check it out. But amazing amount of GPMs. Over 630 and 680 for the Nature Prophet Morphling. Easily hitting that quota up. Farming up that Manta. Whatever, what have you. And really just CLG not having an answer for it. Their mid lane wasn't as effective as it needed to be, and push, 5 people on bottom tower as early as it was. That's what sealed the deal right there as far as snowballing off after that first blood. So really nice play, very exciting game, and thanks for watching, guys. I've got a YouTube channel, Blaze Casting. You might be at it right now, but feel free to leave any comments on the channel or the video below, and just any feedback or anything that I can do better, make the overall casting experience for you. I'm going to try to record more Defense 2 games for this, VOD some up from time to time, upload when I can, and try to get better at this casting thing, because I really do enjoy it, love Dota, and this has been really fun. So thanks for watching, guys, and see you next time.